Now, what I want to talk about tonight, hit on a couple of things quickly, is sometimes we forget when our awesome babies come home at the end of the day how we should interact with them. And so that's what I want to talk about is when they come home at the end of the school day, keep in mind they have had to follow all of these different rules throughout the school day. Everything was about walk this way, sit this way, do this, you can't do that. And we all know schools, they have rules. And yes, some rules may have been changed to accommodate needs or whatever, but it still is a very controlled environment. So we want to make sure when our babies come home, they realize that home is a safe space for them. And in being a safe space, that we are greeting them and allowing them time to exhale from the school day. And we've got to think about how we feel at the end of the day. I remember making a joke saying, boy, when our parents just come home, they tell us, hey, don't say anything to me. And now the older I get, I understand where that comes from, where you just want to sit in silence. Sometimes we sit in the car a little bit longer, whether it's here at home or it's in the parking lot before we pull off. But I now have a better understanding of that, just want to sit for a second and get my thoughts together. So if we want that, we've got to, understand that our awesome babies need that same thing when they get home as well. So we want to make sure we're doing the best we can to support them when they come home. Because I've heard parents say, oh, at home, they're one way, and then the teacher's like, oh, we don't have that problem at school. And it's not a matter of lack of structure per se. It could simply be they have held it together for so long all day. When they get home, they just have to just let go. And that let go sometimes can be an emotional, just overwhelming feeling for them. And it can come out in different ways. But what we've got to remember is it's not about us. It's really about allowing them that space to come in and exhale. And it doesn't matter if they are 3 or 23. They still need that moment, because right now you still need that moment. And I know for me, I don't leave the house every day, but there's an ending to my day working from home. And it still is that moment of that exhale that the day has ended. So as we are thinking about when our babies get home at the end of the day, our awesome babies, here's a thing I want you to keep in mind. I'm going to call it sure love. And that's what we want to make sure. We want to make sure they feel supported, they feel safe, and that we are giving them sure love when they come home at the end of the day. What does that look like? I created an acronym. That's the educator in me. I love a good acronym. And in the sure love, and that's SURE, and then love. Sure love is, the S is, remember, silence is golden. Don't feel the need to force a conversation as soon as they get home. Give them a moment. Verbal, nonverbal, whatever means that you communicate, don't force the communication immediately. Give them a moment. Silence is golden. It's okay to sit in silence, and they just may need to sit for a moment in silence to decompress. The same way we forget. They need to as well, and they really need it even more because they are dealing with sensory needs that may have been met that day or may not have been met that day. So, sure love S, silence is golden. Don't force the conversation. You understand when they get home, it is not about you. I can't say that it's not about you at that moment. It really is about them having that moment to adjust to being home, everything they've held in all day. So with the you ensure, I understand it is not about you at that moment when they arrive home. This is the R that we forget. And sometimes we, get upset about this. Guess what? With the R, they're going to be ready to eat. They're going to be hungry, and it is okay. That is a part of how that school day is set up. When they eat lunch, maybe they had a snack depending on the grade level, maybe they didn't. But understand, with the sure love, when they get home, that R means they're going to be ready to eat. Have a snack ready. One of the things I used to make sure when Kendall and Julian were in elementary school, and so I would pick them up after school from the after school program. And I know they would give them a snack in the after school program, but because I knew one of the first things they would ask when we walked through the door was for a snack, I kept a snack bag in the car. So I eliminated that first thing right off the bat that I knew they were going to need. The snack bag was in the car. It was sitting between their seat and they could get something out. And that way I've taken care of part of that sure love, that R in the sure. So the S is silence is golden. Remember, don't force that conversation when they first get home. U is understand how they're feeling. Everything they may be, unloading is not about you. It really is about them trying to get back to a sense of peace, because their sensory needs may or may not have been met all day. They may have held it together as much as they possibly can with moments of sensory overload. So that U is understand. It's not about you when they get home. R in the sure love is they're going to be ready to eat. Just know it. They're going to be ready to eat. Don't see it as a moment to battle. R is for they're going to be ready to eat. And then the E, because they've had people telling them what to do all day. A big part of working towards independence and building self-confidence and empowering someone, guess what it comes down to? E. We want to make sure we empower them by giving them choices. So when they come home, think about this. We want to make sure when they come home at the end of the day from being at school, or, depending on their age, if they're going to a day program, if they may have a job, we need to understand that our awesome babies, when they get home, they need to feel safe, and they need for you to give them that sure love. And I'm going to go back through it again with the sure love. The S is silence is golden. Do not force that conversation. The U, understand when they get home and everything they experience is not about you, so don't take it personal. They are just bringing their, calming themselves down from everything they've dealt with during the day. The R, they're going to be ready to eat, and it's going to be okay. So we need to be okay with them coming in saying they are ready to eat. I used to keep a snack bag in the car when they were in elementary school, so that immediately I knew I could take away that part and give them a snack right there in the car.